260 shots in the film, we had to complete an authentic performance that was as close as we could imagine to the performance that Paul would have given for the character of Brian O'Connor. On set, a baseline performance was created with Paul's brothers, Caleb and Cody. This gave the filmmakers the ability to direct, light and edit the feature, and also for the other actors to perform and interact with. After each setup, we recaptured the facial performance in an 8-camera photogrammetry array. From this, we could replicate a digital version of the on-set performance. However, although this was great for timings, to remain faithful to Paul's creation of the character of Brian, we always went back to the source. It was vital for us to constantly reference footage from the previous Fast and Furious movies, not only to keep the nuanced detail and unique physiology of Paul, but also to keep the integrity of the character, rather than use artistic interpretation or another actor's interpretation of Paul's performance of Brian. Without scans of Paul to perfect the shading of the skin, we used the next best thing. We scanned and fully recreated Caleb and Cody digitally to understand the way their skin reacted to light, and also how it dynamically changes, either through vascular constriction for different expressions, or other physical changes such as tiredness or exertion. We needed to have the flexibility to replicate Paul in any situation the director wanted, to maintain Paul's legacy and to give audiences the film that Paul would have wanted for his fans.
I think of any movie I've done, this has the highest number of difficult shots. In terms of the visual effects elements that we shot 8,631 visual effects elements. It's my record.
Let me guess. You must be Xerxes.
The trick of this scene really is a huge height differential. Xerxes is supposed to be 7.5 feet tall. He's played by Rodrigo Santoro. But in actuality, Rodrigo and Jerry Butler are exactly the same height. So we had to figure out a way to make these two characters a drastically different size, but keep the quality of the interaction natural and convincing and not draw the viewer out of the movie.
Frank's book shows that Xerxes is almost 1.5 heads taller than Leonidas. So we did a test of that. And so the 10-foot version of Xerxes was outrageous. He just looked like a giant. He just looks huge.
So we made him 8 feet tall, and that still looked a little big. So we went to 7 feet. He looked a little small at 7 feet, so we settled on 7.5.
We totally had to come down to 7.5 feet from 10 feet because of the ridiculousness of 10 feet. 7.5 feet tall for two good actors that are the exact same size. It just shows how over the top Xerxes is too. Everything about him is over the top, so scale is also.
Let us reason together.
Some of the work we did just in camera. You know, since a camera only has one eye, it's limited in its ability to tell the difference between a big object far away and a small object close up. Leonidas was shot with one camera, and Xerxes was shot with another camera. The camera that shot Xerxes was using the same perspective that it would have if been shot normally. It was just a little bit closer.
When they were acting, Rodrigo had this teeny little Jerry that he had to put his hands on, a little Jerry head that stuck on the thing.
Jerry Butler, on the other hand, had to look over the top of Rodrigo's head because he was looking at something that was supposed to be taller than Rodrigo really was.
We would put a laser sometimes on the green screen, way back. And so those were the two tricks we kind of used to scale. With the Wall of the Dead, if you look at Frank's drawing, it's almost like the bodies are like cresting like a wave, like washing down on it. And that was really, I think, the thing that was the biggest challenge.
The challenge was to start the wall off as a big, vertical, intimidating element. So we started off doing a little bit of previs just to kind of get an idea of what Zach wanted to see in the movie.
Chris and I talked about it a lot, about what the aesthetic of the fall would be. And we decided we really need to see him get hit by a body, to see him, fall down. We couldn't reset and do it a bunch of times because it took a long time to carry the bodies and put them up and then dump them down. So Chris came up with this idea of shooting the same drop with 3 cameras. to allow us to get all 3 plates at once. And also to have continuity between the fall, because it actually gave us the foreground, the midground, and the background all in one take. That worked out really cool.
Visual effects for The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug encompassed hero digital performance work, large-scale water and fire simulations, complex digital environments, digital doubles of a large cast, and extensive creature work. A quarter of the shots in the film were entirely CG, and there was a big talking dragon as well. Getting Smaug to convincingly vocalise his speech in a way that maintained all of the richness and nuance of Benedict's voice was a vital part of making him work as a character. Twice the size of a 747 jumbo jet, Smaug's magnificent presence was brought to life by dozens of animators and artists using keyframe animation techniques. The centrepiece barrel escape sequence was an artful mix of live-action plates and digital water, environments and characters. The sequence was augmented with 60 digital doubles, CG characters, fully digital terrain, trees and water simulations to create a perfect environment for danger, humour and excitement. The barrel sequence utilised 76 individual water simulations running 700 metres long and pushing 20 tonnes of water per second of film. Artists spent a full year honing the turbulent waterfalls and rushing river simulations for the barrel chase. Other digital environments in the film include Erebor. We glimpse the Lost Kingdom primarily through 2 set-piece sequences, the Treasure Hall and the Forges. The layout of the Treasure Hall was carefully planned to showcase the true scale of the Dwarven Kingdom, and also to accommodate the movement of the enormous dragon and house an epic stash of gold and treasure. The Treasure Hall itself is about the size of the country of Monaco. Burying a giant dragon under a pile of gold that could be scattered as the creature emerges was easily one of the biggest technical challenges of the film. In the most complex shot, over 18 million coins were simulated and rendered to help convey the scope and disruptive power of Smaug's movements.
And do you now?
The forges house the once mighty engines of dwarven industry with giant bellows and an extensive system of overhead mine carts. It is here that the company battles Smaug and reignites the fires of the forges, creating rivulets and pools of molten gold. Conceived and built entirely digitally, this sequence runs the full gamut of every type of visual effects work. Lake Town began life as a highly detailed set based on concept art by John Howe. To this we added nearly 1,500 buildings, occupying over 200,000 square metres, framed by the iconic Lonely Mountain. Digital bridges and buildings were constructed along the winding waterways for both day and nighttime looks. CG fog, snow and ice flows help give the town its signature Nordic feel. Thranduil's realm, home of the woodland elves, offers a stark contrast to the human town of fishmongers. The vast underground kingdom is an all-CG creation, hewn from honey-coloured rock with exposed tree roots used by the elves to create architectural features. Aerial walkways and elegant bridges span the vast open spaces of the realm. Digital performance work included the orc Azog, who returns, accompanied in this film by his son Bolg, a new character in the story. Both Bolg and Azog are full CG characters, realised with a combination of motion capture and keyframe animation. Creatures included the spiders of Mirkwood and the shape-changer Bjorn and his bear. The Desolation of Smaug was shot at 48 frames per second in stereo, and all of the effects were built to this standard.
There's just one thing we need to reach our full potential. Bring me that red flower, and we will rule this jungle and will protect you.
Action! They're gone. Buffalo! Run!
God! Cute, I guess. You want a bite? All right. Come on.
A little cleaning, Jeff.
You are looking up at those figs. You're wide open. I'm seeing your face. So
What's that big clump of leaves?
I'm giving you like a little half pause before you jump, so that I have a moment. That way.
Now look up to Mickey.
I mean, your eyes are awful. That picture looks perfect. Perfectly clear. That's perfectly clear.
For our pups, he pulled thorns from our paws. He's part of the pack.
They deliberated and they argued. And then
Look at that.
The sound effect. That's the view up. There's you guys looking up the cliff. And these are the real guys. They're real people who collect.
Really?
Yeah. That's where we got the idea. These are people, they have lots
Where's
of
that,
stingers.
Nepal, right?
Over here now.
Cut.
And cut.
Yay, we got it. Check the gate. Excellent. Good work, everybody.
Thank you.